It's the boy Mirage. I'm back. Salute. It's the boy Blackbeard, man. I'm in this motherfucker. Just want to welcome and thank all the people out there in the Midnight Mirage. All the ladies and gentlemen watching the tapes, sharing the tapes, viewing the tapes, new subscribers, old ones. Just want to thank all y'all people out there. And just want to also let you know that the boy Mirage loves all the people. Boy Mirage got love for all the people, man. So, I see y'all out there definitely in the comment section, and just want to let y'all know that I appreciate you people for just participating in the Midnight Mirage, and being loyal. I noticed that a lot of you all that do shout me out and people in the comment section and stuff, I'm seeing the same names, and I'm seeing that you people also are viewing different tapes. So, anybody that's loyal to me, I ride for them 10 times harder. You know what I'm saying? So just salute to all the real people out there, all the real niggas, just keeping it 100. I really, value that type of stuff. I value when people keep shit 100 because, it's a rare thing. And, when you have it, it's something that can boost you to the top, Like I gave you that episode, like the episode of Dragon Ball Z that we talked about the one time when they were fighting against Black Goku and the other guy. But anyway, I can't remember who exactly it was, but there was a scene when all the people were, they wanted to see him win. You see, in their minds and in their hearts and in their souls, they wanted to see this man win. They wanted to see him fight and cast off and ward off the bad energy. You know what I'm saying? The parasitic energy. And you saw this white Christ light coming off of all the people as they were hoping and, putting good energy toward this man. And then eventually he superpowered and went into a higher Super Saiyan level, and destroyed his foe. So, that's how Blackbeard views this shit. When y'all out there showing love, even if you don't comment, even if you don't subscribe, even if you don't never hit like, or even if you don't never share it, you may just be a viewer, and just maybe thinking like, man, this guy maybe spent some real shit, salute to him on his journey or whatever. Like, even when you all are thinking that stuff, Blackbeard receives the effects of that, you see, because I'm constantly battling and constantly destroying and constantly challenging, the parasitic energy in no kind of form. In any kind of form or shape that it comes in, so even if it's not on some YouTube shit, like I may not be making a tape, but that's because in real life, I'm battling that shit. And I'm working on the pyramid because, as we said before, this is generational pyramid building shit. We're not just doing something right now that's for us. We out of that selfish mentality, that mentality of thinking that we just trying to eat for ourselves. We're not really trying to, set up no kind of real community type shit so niggas can kind of eat together. You see, it's enough with all that shit, and that's what this blood moon energy is about. Because ultimately in this tape, we talking about the blood moon energy. It's the blood moon energy. We're dealing with the emotion, in this tape. So it's going to be real, it's going to be real fluid. It's going to be formless like water. We ain't going to put it into form and be all rigid and strict on this. We're going to be real relaxed. We're going to be real flexible, because we're dealing with more of the moon energy. Once again, dealing with the internal emotion, the true internal emotion, and also your true intent. Because that's also what this blood moon energy is dealing with. What it is showing out what it is pulling out your true intention. So a lot of people may say that I want to go to work and get some money. Okay. But in order for you to keep being able to do that, you got to ask yourself, well, what is the intention? What am I trying to do? That's what the real question is. I don't want to just think that, I'm going to work to get some money. Then it goes from, well, what do I want the money for? Okay, I want the money so I can keep my bills paid and I can keep a roof over my head. Then the next question goes to, well, why do you want to keep your bills paid and why do you want to keep a roof over your head? Well, I want to do that so I can stay out the elements and, let's say, take care of my children. And then the next question may go to, well, why do you want to take care of your children? Then the answer to that could be because I want to leave an archetype on this planet that could perpetuate and continue a blueprint that I'm putting in stone right now. And then it can go even further to, well, why do you want to necessarily do that? And then you get in more into your divine intent. So the point is that you have to play this game with yourself and always ask yourself, why am I doing what I'm doing? You know, whenever I want to give or receive something, what's the real intent behind it? All right. Because that intent will help you stay focused. So let's say, for example, let's say, you know, going to college or going to class. I remember it was a lot of days when it would be raining, you know. Blackbeard will wake up in the morning, you know what I'm saying, and see, damn, it's raining outside, you know, and a lot of times I had early classes. So that means a nigga got to get up, you know, and walk to class. So at that time, the only way I was able to really keep myself going and not skip class that day is because Blackbeard, he knew what his intent was. Blackbeard knew why he was going to college and why he wanted to achieve what it is he set out to achieve. Blackbeard's intent was basically to master a particular craft so he could use that skill to help his family and friends. That's what his intent was. So this is what made it a lot easier for me to go in the rain and not worrying about, you know, getting rained on and I'm wet and all this other stuff, because I knew why I was doing it. Now you got to remember that the core root of me wanting to gain a skill so I could help family and friends, that's what's at the core and the nucleus, but there are a lot of outer layers. Some of those outer layers could have been, so let's say if the core of it was to help family and friends, it may have started out, I want to get a college degree. Well, why do you want a college degree? Or what kind of college degree do you want? You know, then I'll say, I want an accounting degree, financial. Then it's what do you want, financial and accounting. Then it could go to, because I want to understand finances, I want to understand the behind the scenes of what goes on with the revenues and expenses of business. Then the question could go to then, why do you want to obtain financial literacy? Because that's ultimately all that is. And then it goes deeper and deeper and deeper. And ultimately it's going to boil down to wanting to help family and friends. Okay. So when you know what your core intention is of some shit, when you start getting challenged, when things start getting hard, and you start to face adversity, when you holding on to that core intent instead of some outer core or outer layer intent, you're going to be able to do the shit. Because let's say I woke up in the morning and instead of really knowing that my core intent was to help family and friends, because helping family and friends, to me, that's being entrepreneurial with the accounting, owning my own accounting firm. Okay. So instead of me knowing that, and it was just, let's say, get an accounting degree. Well, getting an accounting degree, you can own your own business and you could work for somebody else. But let's say I didn't know what my true intent was. Then I may have been thinking more along the lines of working for somebody else. So now it's a little easier for me to, let's say, stay asleep because, you know, if I skip class, well, as long as I got a good grade and my GPA is X, Y, and Z, and I know at accounting day coming up in May, you know, when these firms come and they look at X, Y, and Z, they'll hire me still and get the job. So if you don't really know what your core intention is of some shit, you'll just be doing any old type of thing, you see? So this whole full moon energy, that's what it's really doing. It's showing you your core intent of why you behind some shit you doing, you see? And intent, a lot of that deals with, let's say, more of a intuitive, spiritual, emotional type energy. Because what we call emotion is a higher level of conscience, you see? Like the same way that your brain has a certain level of conscience and awareness, you know, that's also what we call emotion. So emotion and mental are actually polarities. You see, they two poles on the same plane. Okay. So the mental and the emotional, they are mirrors. Let's say if you got a penny in front of you, you know how you got the one side, you got Abraham Lincoln's face, and then on the other side, you got the memorial. So the mental would be the front side and the emotion would be on the back, the memorial. All right. But they're not separate. They're two sides of the same thing. So when you say consciousness or I'm evolving and all this other stuff, we can't just think that these things are mental. OK, it don't stop at the mental. You have to also evolve yourself emotionally because your emotion is a certain level of awareness. Like I'll give you another example. Blackbeard is really a street nigga at heart, at core. And when I say that, I mean more so on I know how to survive in the wilderness. Because when I think of street shit, I just think of knowing how to survive in the wilderness, basically knowing how to take care of yourself, knowing how to obtain resources, knowing how to be, skillful at warfare, because that's kind of how my mentality was on a lot of shit. So it would be different situations where, I would be with my boys and shit. We may go to a certain party or a certain block, or we around a certain group of females or whatever it may have been. And since Blackbeard always vibrated at a high level, that helped me a lot when I would be in the streets, because we would be around certain people, and my emotional conscience, my moon conscience, it would tell me like what niggas was real and what niggas was not. And that has always helped me, when I was in the streets. Helped me understand bad situations, before they happen, and all other kind of stuff. All the way boiling down to when I wasn't around, certain people got hurt. And in worst cases, when I wasn't around, certain people got killed. And the reason why is because I had the emotional conscience, and a lot of people I was around, they didn't have it at the level I was at, because they weren't vibrating as high as I was. So they couldn't see in between the lines like I would, and they would go and do certain things because their emotional conscience it's just not, it may still be sleep, let's say, So emotional conscience, it works like that. You could have, let's say you're going to look for jobs, right? And you're looking for like different type of jobs, and it may be, let's say, 2 jobs you're looking between getting, and you interview with both of them, and both of them seem straight, but one of them, let's say, it was a little more favorable. Let's say one of them was closer to where you lived at, so you ain't have to travel as far, or you got paid a little bit more, or just it was something about it that made it a better option for you to take. And on a deeper inner level, you knew that. Once again, on an intent nucleus level, you knew that. So let's say you got that one job with right there, but on the other end, let's say the other job, they hit you up, and they hit you up the next day, and it seemed like they're ready to hire you and all this other stuff. Your emotional conscience and your emotional awareness, your blood moon awareness, if you are, synchronizing, and if you are tuned in with your intent, you're going to be able to realize if that's what you need to do or not. Because your emotional conscience may say, don't take the job. But mentally, you may be thinking like, man, I need to go ahead and do this. This seems like it's a good thing. Like they hitting me up. I need a job because I need to get some little money, because unless they trying to save up to get X, Y, and Z. So boom, these folks talking about it. But on that inner conscience and that moon level, that's not what you really feeling. Your mind telling you one thing, but your inner soul telling you something else. Because you also got to think this too, is that the lower self of your mind, and your emotion is what we would call, let's say, ego. Now, it's also a certain aspect of our ego that plays out what's known as just instinctual response. So that means just like animal instincts, because there is a certain part of our physicality that does have animal instinct, just animal impulsive. And that's a certain level of conscience and awareness and intelligence, but it's very, very low. So when we say intelligence, is this animal intelligence, or is this what we would call human intelligence? Because animals have a certain level of intelligence too, but it's not, let's say, at the vibration of ours. So just because your mind is telling you something, you got to remember that there is a certain aspect of your animal instinctual self that can talk through your mind just like it can through your emotion, So the point is recognizing that balance between your emotional conscience and awareness, and also your brain or so-called mental awareness. All right. Because I don't want people to get lost in thinking that when people say, oh, I'm conscious, that this has to do with mental or intelligent things only. Like, when we say emotional, this is intelligence. Or in other words, when you say intelligence, you mean 50% mental and 50% emotional. So intelligence is not 100% mental, is what we're getting at. You got to also think that your mind, or a lot of the things that your mind registers and gives to you as an output, a lot of that data and information came from your emotional center. So it's not like your mind can pick up all the information. It may know how to decipher it, but who's actually gathering the information? You see, who's actually gathering up all the information so the mind can take it and make a certain decision with it. That's the emotional center doing that. So your emotional center has a certain level of awareness within itself. It has a consciousness that's of its own nature, and it works in hand with your mental conscience. Okay. So also don't think that your emotional conscience, let's say, is inside of your heart or in your stomach, and your mental conscience is only inside of your head. You got to remember, you are inside of your whole being, within and without. So it's not like you just exist within your brain. Now, they show y'all a lot of the movies where, for example, like one of the H.P. Lovecraft joints called The Reanimator, where, it's a movie where it's a mad scientist, long story short, and, they'll have the guy's head. And just because the head and the brain is still alive, that whole mythology of making you think that the entire being is alive. You got to think that's something, you got to look a little deeper into that, because why, for example, where they show you some of the movies like The Headless Horseman, like when Blackbeard was growing up, a movie that I remember me and my dad and my brother saw was Sleepy Hollow with The Headless Horseman, one of my favorites. And this is a movie where, in a being, we can say, that literally has no head, or you don't see a brain rather, but the being is alive, is conscious, is aware, and it can even quote unquote see you, because the Headless Horseman would, let's say it was to be a part where some people was hiding in the bushes and he thought somebody was over there, and he may be riding on a horse, and then he looks around and, he can't see them necessarily, but because they're in the bush hiding, but nevertheless, it's kind of showing you that just because he don't have a head or brain and eyes don't mean he's not aware. So you got to ask yourself, what kind of consciousness does the Headless Horseman have? The Headless Horseman has what I'm talking about, emotional conscience. It's the same conscience and at the same level as what we call brain or mental. So a blood moon symbol is the Headless Horseman, because the Headless Horseman is one who doesn't use mental conscience. He doesn't use logic. He doesn't analyze. He uses the deeper intuition, the deeper waters of Neptune, Pisces, and Scorpio. You know what I'm saying? The inner waters, the Akashic waters. That's what the Headless Horseman uses as a form of conscience, because he can't quote unquote see. So in the occult, they give us these signs, and if we would look deeper into it, it would make sense, because don't you notice the Headless Horseman, don't he always come out at nighttime when the moon is out? Because I don't remember too many parts of the movie it was some parts when he was out during the daytime and he done murked some niggas and shit. But, when the shit was really popping, the Headless Horseman comes out at night. Who else comes out at night? The moon. So that shows you a connection between the Headless Horseman, or the one who has no brain or no brain conscience or no awareness with the physical eyes, but yet and still is able to move within the night, because actually the brain or the head of the Headless Horseman is the full moon. You see, that is the head of the Headless Horseman. It's the full moon. That's also the other symbol with the cat. All right. It was June 23rd. This past June, it was June 23rd. It was on a Saturday night, and I was just chilling, and I saw a black cat. Basically, he came across my path, and I was in the dark now because I was out at night kind of doing like a night meditation. So I'm in the pitch black, right? And I see this cat literally walk past me, and then it turned around and it looked at me, and it had like these glowing green eyes. And it was literally just this pitch black. You saw these glowing green eyes, and it just stared at me for a little while. So this is another symbol for the moon, because the moon is the one who can illuminate and see in the darkness. Even though it doesn't, have the sun to necessarily see everything and perceive absolutely everything. That's kind of what the moon, the full moon, represents, being able to see in the dark. So when you see, the like different military black ops type shit, and they using those night vision goggles, like shout out to all my Call of Duty niggas out there, and everybody be on their fucking shooting games and shit, but you know, Blackbeard be liking to use the night vision goggle type shit or the infrared type shit. But that's all moon conscience. You see, anything that distorts your daylight conscience or just your awareness to where you can see everything around you and you have to look at it and see in a different type of way, in this more occult type fashion, that's all dealing with the moon. And the full moon is the exalted ability, because when the moon is full, you have a better chance at seeing something in the nighttime. Whereas if the full moon is in the new moon stage, or if it's in the quarter moon, you know, or the crescent moon, etc. Like, the moon kind of lit then, but you can't see as good. But when it's a full moon and it's fully illuminated, that's when you can see the best. You see? So this seeing that I'm talking about, this seeing in the dark, or this seeing without a brain, or this seeing without the mental, intellectual ego faculty, we'll say, the two eyes faculty, the optic faculty. This is what we call an emotional conscience. So let's put everything right. So the blood moon symbol is also the symbol of emotional conscience. Okay. It is a symbol of the headless horseman, the one who can see in the night, but doesn't have a head or two eyes or a brain to see. All right. So that's the whole, you know, the motif that we want to get is that. What else I want to drop on y'all? Now we're going to just talk about some different things that the blood moon emotional conscience, or at least the emotional conscience of Blackbeard, inner Mirage, you know, I'll give y'all what mine is talking about. This shit is a lot. The energy and the time we in now, it's a lot of family energy. Okay. So you people out there who, you know, y'all got family and like friends and stuff that y'all fuck with, like, this is a time to go to the higher octave of fucking with people that you really rock with. So it's like, if you cool with somebody, now is the time to become like 10 times cool with them. And if you not cool with somebody, then now is the time to literally straight cut them off. Like, I mean, completely. Not slick cut them off. Not like, oh, I'm just going to ignore their calls. Like, I mean, literally like cut them off mentally, emotionally. They number gone, they text gone, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like with Blackbeard, like some of you niggas out there, when these females send y'all the little naked pictures, even if after y'all don't fuck with them hoes no more, and like y'all stop talking, y'all still be keeping them. Like Blackbeard, delete them motherfuckers. So now is the time to even delete the goddamn, I don't care how thick she is, bro. Yeah, I know she got a fat ass, bro. I already know, bro. But just delete that shit, bro. So now is the time for that. And let's say that you got somebody that's around and they've been fucking with you. The energy been good. It ain't been no parasite type shit. Now is the time to put more energy into those people. You know, on some family and friends type shit, whoever they may be. So this is not the time to deposit your emotional energy, your emotional, you know, spiritual energy into people who don't deserve it. You know, now is not the time to do that. It's not, you know what I'm saying? It's not the time to do that. What else I got for y'all? This is how y'all gonna get some money and get some resources. Remember how I just said that now is the time to deposit your emotional conscience in people that matter and stop doing it to people that don't matter. You about to get some more money and resources by sharing what you got now, no matter how little or a lot it is, with those people that matter. So let's say y'all got some family and friends right now. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and drop it on some of y'all right now. I don't know who it's gonna be for, but this for somebody out there. Some of y'all out there about to have some family and friends hit y'all up that's gonna need y'all help. It may be financially, it may be your time, it may be your labor, it may be your advice, it may be your awareness, it may be your advanced level of emotional conscience, it may be your intuition. It's something that you got that somebody that's close to you, that's family and friends that fuck with you, that have been sharing what they have with you, whether how little or a lot it is. They gonna need some help from you for something. Okay? They gonna need some help for something. So when they ask you, just go ahead and do it. Just go ahead and do it. You know what I'm saying? Because it probably ain't gonna even be no real major shit. But they gonna need your help. They might need your advice. Or hell, they may need to borrow $15. It could be some shit like that. Like, you know, one of y'all may have a partner or your friend, you know, your homegirl or something. She probably hit you up like, man, you know, she trying to goddamn, let's say, get her nails done or some shit, and she needed like $20 or some shit. Like, just go ahead and give it to her, because this is somebody that already fuck with you. Okay? So go ahead and do it. Like, don't even trip. Like, don't even hesitate. Matter of fact, give her 25. You know what I'm saying? If she need 20, go ahead and give her 25. Because when you do that, this blood moon energy, this full moon energy, and the headless horseman energy, it's going to pour back into your emotional conscience. And you just going to start vibrating at a higher level. And then off of some basic shit that you doing in your natural everyday life, you going to get extra money from it. That's how it's going to happen. Okay? Now, I just dropped that shit on y'all now. I hope y'all just paid attention to that shit. Like, go ahead and just do it, okay? Because, see, we in the time of Leo, all right? So we in the constellation of Leo right now. And one thing that Leo could have an issue with is ego. Ego, selfishness, always wanted the spotlight to be on them and not really wanting to help somebody else when they need help. You know? But always throw a fit when somebody don't want to help them, or if they in a position to need help and ain't nobody trying to come help them. Okay. Now Blackbeard knows a lot about this, because my south node is in Leo and my north node is in Aquarius in the 3rd house. So that means in some of Blackbeard's past lives, I was a superstar nigga, just like I am now. You know, can attract a lot of attention. Got a fiery type energy. You know what I'm saying? All that type shit. But in this lifetime, one of my tasks is that I have to become more humanitarian, share more, you know what I'm saying? And help other people come into the spotlight, because I done did that shit already. Like, I already done won 10 championships as Bill Russell, or 11 championships as Bill Russell. So now I got to raise another nigga up. So that's what my South Node Leo kind of represents, and North Node being in Aquarius, because Aquarius is kind of like trying to put on more for like a larger group of people. It's not trying to put on, you know, for like individuals or small groups. Aquarius is dealing with expanding that shit, like giving that shit to a lot of people, like on a real high philanthropy like level, bringing unexpected change of a higher philanthropic Uranian or Uranus energy, because Uranus and Saturn, you know, they deal with the Aquarius, okay, the Aquarius age. All right, Uranus and Saturn energies. So those two energies are going to help, you know, with being, you know, humanitarian in your behavior. So that's what we dealing with on the full moon energy, as far as with the family and friends. Like, you know, go ahead and do that. And also too, like, the person that asks you, it's not going to be a person that you got to like think about, like, man, like this person did some lame shit. It ain't going to be like that. Like, it's going to be somebody that you already fuck with. So what I'm telling you is that if you don't do it, it's that lower Leo energy that's keeping you from doing it. That lower ego energy. You know, oh, I'm going to keep that $20 because, you know what I'm saying, I wanted to goddamn go to the movies or some other shit. Knowing that you already got some other bread. So it ain't like you on your last 20. That's why I'm saying it's that lower Leo energy that's going to challenge you. Because we in the time of Leo right now. That's when the sun is out. The sun like, hey, y'all, look at me. I want all the attention. Because isn't during the summertime, isn't the sun out the longest during the summertime? During the dog days of Sirius, that's during Leo. The exaltation of Sekhmet, that's all Leo. So that's when the sun want the most attention. His ass be out hot as fuck, like, hey y'all, Shit, y'all come party with me, man. Shit, I'm in this motherfucker, man. What's happening, y'all? Shit, I've been gone all winter. Y'all ain't happy to see me? Shit, in springtime, I told y'all niggas I was gonna be out longer. I mean, we kicking it. Cause it don't get dark till like damn 9 o'clock. And this shit still be like fucking 80 fucking 3 degrees or 80, 90 degrees. So the sun, he out kicking it. Like, shit, what's up, y'all? I'm out this motherfucker. I want all the attention. Hey, y'all, what's up? That's Leo. That's straight Leo energy. And that's why Leo is associated with the sun and the summertime, because it's the hottest outside because the sun is out the longest. You see how they go? And then guess what the opposite of it would be? It would be, of course, the wintertime, right? And the wintertime is ruled by who? Capricorn. And who rules Capricorn? Saturn does. And Saturn, he's the complete opposite. You know what I'm saying? More his dark time shit. More like, nah, nigga, you need to goddamn go within your subconscious and see what your real self is. And stop worrying about everybody seeing you and check yourself. Who are you really? But this is like you doing an inner reflection. So summertime Leo is more like, hey, everybody, look at me. But Capricorn winter is more like, who am I? So you're doing more of an inner reflection. So that's showing you the moon and Saturn connection, because both of those energies will deal with more of an introspective. It's not this whole everybody, you know, look at me, etc. Like, that's not what that is, you know, because during the wintertime, that's more like I'm going within my own self to kind of evaluate what the hell I got going on. And then by the summertime, that's when everybody sees what I actually got going on. Because Saturn and the sun, once again, these are all celestial energies or forms of celestial conscience. And these beings or celestial bodies really are all different archetype versions of each other. Okay? So Saturn and the sun have a relationship. All right? So this